let's get in positions, everyone. Camera 1 into a 2-second pre-roll. Camera 1, track left. Open lock. Watch your focus, Challenge. We're on the air.
Kids wanna know. Kids wanna know. Kids wanna know.
Candy bars, something that almost everyone loves, but I don't think we'll be taking it to our next story. That's the Bearing Automotive Museum, a place where they have very unique old cars. You don't want to get chocolate fingerprints on them, so let's leave the candy bars here and go take a look. Bugattis, Borges, Duesenbergs, Asymmetricas. If you haven't figured out what we're talking about yet, it's automobiles, but not your typical everyday kind. At the Blackhawk Auto Museum in Danville, California, these cars are like the Picassos of the automobile world.
We have a lot of one-of-a-kind cars here at the museum. I mean, only one kind was built, one body style was built on that car. The museum's mission is to present the automobile as a work of art.
No, you won't find paintings on these cars. Well, maybe a few wild decorations. But the art is actually in the design of the vehicle. The shapes, the curves, the angles. There's a lot of math used in building them, like geometry. But some don't really even look like cars.
When a visitor comes in and they first come into the lower gallery here, we have the cars arranged chronologically. So the first thing that they will see is the 1897 Leon Boulay tandem tricar, in which one person sits in front of the driver. It's a two-passenger. It's a great evolutionary piece between the early three-wheeled bicycles into actually an automobile with a very small engine that did not go extremely fast, that people were able to get around in. But it shows that transition between the bicycle and the automobile per se in that era.
And if you look closely, you can see just how primitive these cars were. The belt that helped make the wheels turn was made of leather, and the brake was just a wooden block. Kind of a Little House on the Prairie look.
You look at cars that are suddenly getting larger, like the 1903 Moors that we have. It looks very much like a stagecoach, but someone sits in front and drives it.
The accessories on the auto made them stand out too, like this turn signal that has a stop, left turn, and a unique spelling of right for the right turn. This rear view mirror is strapped to the spare tire. Or these headlights that could be taken off and used as lanterns. And if you've ever wondered why they call the back end of a car a trunk, well, that's exactly what they used to have strapped to the back. Some of these cars are so extravagant, their insides look more like a hotel room. But the thing that really separates each auto is its hood ornament. From Rolls-Royce to Pierce Arrow to a peacock and a winged person holding a tire. But I can't tell if this is a stork or a big mosquito. Either way, the hood ornament, with its own unique artwork, helped define each automobile. Now, the environment played a big role in the design of automobiles, too. When autos started to become popular and replaced the horse-drawn carriages, the roads were still in pretty bad shape. Big ruts in the road, potholes, things like that. Cars had to be built that could ride along these roads, like the 1908 Underslung Roadster. It had giant wheels and sat high above the ground so it wouldn't scrape. But that didn't mean it had to look like a truck. Far from it, they gave it a sports car look. But if you're looking for the big star of this museum, it might be tough just to pick one.
Perhaps the 1912 Stutz Bearcat, which could be looked at as America's first true sports car. Perhaps the L29 Cord front-wheel drive automobile, which was America's first front-wheel drive car.
Other stars are the 1935 Duesenberg. This one was owned by legendary movie star Clark Gable, who in the movie Gone with the Wind coined the phrase that we can't say here because it's a kid's show. Best to go ask Mom and Dad about him. Also, there's Roscoe Arbuckle's Pierce Arrow. Fatty Arbuckle, as he was known for obvious reasons, was kind of the Jim Carrey of the 1920s. This 1929 Mercedes-Benz was owned by Al Jolson, a famous singer and the star of the very first big movie where people talked, called The Jazz Singer. And this is called a Zeiss. It's a type of car Joseph Stalin rode in the 1940s. You don't know who Stalin was? He was the leader of what was known then as the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or the Soviet Union. Now it would be called Russia and several other independent countries. And how about this car, owned by a Shah of India? It's a 1926 Daimler, used as a hunting vehicle and made of nickel and silver.
They used that to go out in the field and bag wild game. The little seats on the side is what his manservants used when you shot something. They got off there, went out and got it, and brought it back to the car.
It's believed to have been found deep in a jungle, completely stuck in mud. The legend goes that 4 elephants had to carry it out of the jungle in a sling. And you'd think the horn would make a hissing noise instead of a honk. Just another design that was a sign of the times. Are you starting to get the picture now? Movie stars, comedians, shahs, leaders of countries, people who were famous and had lots of money. These were the only ones who could afford these works of art, including this 1931 Bugatti Royale, considered by some to be the biggest star of the automobile world. This one's body was made with wood blocks, and only 6 were ever made. And the price was a whopping $45,000 back in 1931. Imagine what it would sell for now. But people who can afford to buy these cars don't do it so they can make a buck selling it to someone else. They buy them for the same reason this museum is available, for people to come in, so we can admire the craftsmanship, remember the history, and respect the people who made auto building an art form.